Yo, 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 what's the dealio, y'all? You already know what time it is, man. I got a banger for you. It's Wisdom Wednesday. Today is Wisdom Wednesday, and we got a special one, all right? So check this out, y'all. Check this out. Do me a favor, like this video for me, subscribe to this channel, okay? We growing, we growing, we growing, and I'm excited about that. Every single day, I'm bringing something to you that could change your life, all right? Tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we got the day 3 of the boot camp, the options boot camp. So be sure to tune in to that. All right. So I don't want to waste y'all time. We're going to get straight into the Wisdom Wednesday, right? Today, I want to talk about being long-term minded, right? I want to talk about being long-term minded. And so if you have not heard of leaps, if you haven't heard of leaps, let me break this down for you guys real quick, okay? Because I want to talk about leaps, but I want to talk about it in a certain way. So right here, we have a leap, right? It most commonly refers to as a long-term equity anticipation securities, right? Which are options with more than a year until expiration, okay? So when I'm saying leap, I'm mentioning long-term equity anticipation securities. All it is an option contract with an expiration date of a year or longer, right? Other sources will say 9 months or longer, but let's just say a year, okay? So that's what a leap is. So when you think about a leap, it's a long-term thing, right? It's a long-term thing. That's all it is. So I like leaps because it's kind of like getting shares, but your returns is going to be on steroids compared to what shares will be, right? Now, I wrote something, and I'm going to read this to you, and we're going to get into the Wisdom Wednesday, right? So check this out right here, okay? I say, your life is a leap. You're going to have drawdown. You're going to want to cash out. You're going to want to cut your losses. You're going to have red days. You're going to have green days, right? No matter what, see it through. That's what the time is for. Key right there. That is what the time is for, right? So let's dive into this, y'all. Let's dive into this real quick. Your life is a leap, right? Your life is a leap. So let's set this foundation here first. When we're talking about leap and we're talking about long term, and I'm saying your life is a leap, I want you to think of you getting into a trade and the stock is at $10 per share, right? I want you to think about $10 per share. You're the stock, right? You're the stock. You're trading at $10 a share, right? And you know that as a stock, you could be trading at $200 per share in the next 12 to 18 to 24 months, right? So you get into a leap, right? You know that you're going to be going to $200 per share, okay? So watch this. If you knew you was going to be at $200 per share, why would you sell at $10 a share? Why would you sell at $30 a share, right? So this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. So for your life, you got to have a target, right? And the target is your price target. The target is your take profit levels, okay? Your target is your all-time highs, okay? So you get into this long-term trade. It's so similar to life because have you ever got into a trade and then immediately you was like, man, I don't know if I got into the right trade. I think I want to get out. It ain't even been an hour in the trade. And we talking about you got an expiration of 5 months out, a year out, and you want to get out the trade. Just think about it. Just think about it, right? So you got to understand that that's what the time is for. You're in this for the long haul. Now, when you're in this leap trade, let's say you got in at $10 per share. Stock goes up to $25, right? But before it goes up to $25, it dropped from $10 down to $7. And let's say you put $10,000 in this trade, and now you down from your initial 10,000, you down 40%. So you only at $6,000 now. That's the same thing with life. Sometimes in life, you gonna make a decision and then it's gonna go backwards. That don't mean it's time for you to get out the trade. That does not mean it's time for you to get out of the trade, to get out of the idea. What that means is you got to be patient. You might need to average down, right? Maybe. If you got a lot of time on your side, you might need to average down into the trade. In your life, that's doubling down on a thing that you say you want to happen because you know where it's going. You know where you're going in your life, right? So you're going to have drawdown. You're going to have drawdown. And you got to learn how to see it through. You got to learn how to give things an opportunity to work. I can't say this enough. You got to learn how to give things an opportunity to work. If you get into a trade and as long as the contract is good and stuff like that, right? Don't get no out of the money contract that is $50 out of the money, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a solid trade, a solid contract, right? Solid decision in your life, a solid plan, a solid vision, right? And you got to learn how to give it time. You got next year expiration, and it's been a day and a half, and you talk about getting out of the trade because you down 10%. Come on now. You can't do that in trading and be successful. You can't do that in life, right? What about the days where you wake up and the whole market red? Whole market red, right? You like, damn, my whole portfolio, my whole account is in the red right now. I'm down 5 racks. I'm down $200. I'm down $18,000, right? Ain't none of my trades doing anything today. That's how life be sometimes. Sometimes you wake up and you like, damn, it's a bad day. It's a bloody day. Ain't nothing I can do about today. Sometimes in life, things happen that are far, far out of your control that there's nothing about it that you could do. That's why you got a leap. That's why you got a long-term contract. That's why. Because you bought yourself that time. The long-term contract in regards to your life is your vision. Is the investments that you make right now that you have not cashed out on. Because you know where the stock is going. One trade can change your life. It could be a swing trade over a month. It could be a leap, right? It could be a day trade. One trade can change your life. But one thing that I've learned is, and this is in trading, this is in life, a lot of times people don't give things an opportunity to cook and to work. People do not give things an opportunity to work. A lot of times you're not giving yourself and your life the opportunity to work. That's why you keep starting things and stopping things, starting things and stopping things. Because you're not giving things the opportunity to work and to bubble up. Think about agriculture. When you plant a seed, just because it don't sprout tomorrow, that don't mean you walk away from it and you take it out the ground. And a lot of times, let's say you plant something, it's been a month and you don't see anything yet. If you dig it out the ground, you will see that that plant had roots underground and it was doing its thing underground. It was getting ready to sprout above ground. You got to understand that a lot of things that's happening in your life are happening where you can't see. It's happening away from you. The most powerful things that are going to happen in your life are already being set up underground, behind the scenes. You can't see it yet. And just because you can't see it does not mean it's not happening. My first Wisdom Wednesday, what did I say? What you can't see is more powerful than what you can see. So you got to understand that, like, okay, the things that I want to happen and what I want to experience are going to happen. It's just happening underground right now. The roots is growing, so that way when things do grow up, it doesn't fall down because the foundation is solid. This is what it's about right here. This is what it's about. It's not about get in a trade and get out of it today just because you had some drawdown, right? You're going to have days in your leap where you want to cash out, right? You may feel like you need the money, right? You may be like, you know what? I'm up. I want to take the money. But watch this. Watch this. One of the most important parts of investing and really building your money and building wealth is you got to put yourself in a position to not need it. So in trading, it's not need the money. But in life, you got to put yourself in a position to not need the success. Because when you need it, it's going to run away from you. It's going to evade you. It's going to feel harder than what it has to. But when you don't need it, it just comes to you. It attracts to you. Right? That's how it works. And so the same way, if you want to grow your money in the stock market long term, you got to say, okay, I don't plan on touching this money for at least 2 to 3 years. That gives it time to grow. What if you said, I'm committed to something long term, but I'm not going to cash out on that opportunity until a year and a half, 2 years from now. I'm setting my life up for the next 3 to 5 years instead of the next 3 to 5 days. If you learn how to not need the money right now, that is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. Because when you don't need it, it comes to you a lot easier. When you don't need the money in trading, you allow your account to grow faster and bigger because you ain't taking out money. And you ain't making decisions based on what you need now. One of the most important lessons I've learned in this journey of like the stock market is you have to allow the money to grow. You got to put yourself in a position to not need it. Point blank, period. If you need it now, you ain't never going to have it in the future. So that's why people like day trading, because they can make the money now. But the wealth, like big wealth, yeah, you can make money day trading. I look at day trading as a job, right? But them leaps, them swings 6 months out, where a stock is undervalued right now, that's what's going to print money for you when you ain't got to do nothing. All you got to do is respect time and let time go by. That's all you got to do. I want you guys to understand the power of this. Your life is a leap. Your life is a leap. You got to treat it as such. You're going to have your green days, right? You're going to want to cut your losses. You're going to have days so bad that you just want to cut your losses. But don't cut your losses just because your emotions is controlling your mind, right? How many times you got out of a trade just because you was down and no other reason, and then 2 days later the stock went crazy? That's happened to me before as well. So you have to understand what's really going on in the big picture of it all. In the grand scheme of things, you're going to win. You're going to be successful. I'm here to tell you that you're going to be successful. But what you got to do is master yourself, and master yourself on the journey. And if you can do that, you're going to get where you want to go. All right? So listen, y'all. I hope that made sense. I hope that helped. I hope that gave you some perspective and some insight. And I hope that you take this long-term mentality and you apply it to your life, because it can change your life. All right? So I'm going to see you guys tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Y'all make sure you get up out of your head. Go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live, all right? And also remember, y'all, the more you study, the less you worry, all right? I appreciate y'all time. I'm going to see y'all later on tonight. Y'all stay smooth. Peace.